delude before the storm. I'm afraid for you that you will receive what the people before you did receive. Allah God is very angry with America and the trickology that she used on the dead to keep them dead. You're very disappointed to Allah God and to original black man who know himself. A very few, of course. The false show of a glorious future that the wicked is putting on is at hand. Must remember Daniel prophecy that the end of the war, desolation, are determined. But before this happens, Allah God will bless the people with a good time, as he did the people of the past who wronged themselves, who did not pay attention to the prophet warning amongst them. Allah God destroyed them. They thought that they were fooling Allah God, but Allah God surprised them. He made the people rejoice for a short time with a show of great prosperity. And at the heights of their great prosperity, suddenly he destroyed them. This is the merciful law that Allah has put in nature. Allah God let a dying person rally before the end. America is going to do the same. America rally and people will think that she's going to have a great future. Then the end will come in that kind of time. America end will not come while she's going around with her head hanging down, the heart itching and failing because of the things that are coming on her nation. No, she will be made to enjoy good times. The stock markets are going up. Lots of shares is being sold. This make every man thinks that everything's all right. But this is only the lewd before the storm. And the Bible warns America what happens before her. Ancient Babylon enjoyed a full ruling position at her time. But King Darius came against her at the time of her full enjoyment of wealth, drunkenness, and her laughing at the slave that she had made of Israel. King Darius came with his army and overcame the sleeping guards, and sleeping on the security of their life. The Bible prophesies that enemy would say, "Come, let us go up and destroy her." The city is not fenced in. They will come from afar. They may come at noonday, or they may come at the rising in the morning or in the afternoon. But nevertheless, they will come at a time that you thought not. After the war, enter the end of the war. Desolation are determined, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. You see the Bible, Daniel 9:26 and 27. I want you to know that which will be poured, it is the vibration of your America. If you ever given back into power again to attack the nation of the earth, Europe will become one of the war areas of all the world, the worst areas of all the world, more dreadful than Vietnam and other places that you are planning on going into. See, Asia will look like child's play when compared to what is going to happen in Europe. The prophet says, "Whom to a land that shallow with rings." This means America whose skies is filled with plains. Most of all of the judgment and trouble which are pointed at in the Bible are pointed at America. Study them for yourself. America right up to today, with all of her battles, with her outside enemy, never loses sight of her inside of her poor old black slave. She does not want him to do anything. She wants him to be deceived. Does not want him to accept his starvation that Allah God is offering the black one slave here in America. Allah God is offering the black one slave heaven at once. This he has proven to everyone that believes in Allah God and follow me. I am the door. By no means can you get by except you come by me. Prayers will not be heard unless my name is mentioned in them. I'm saying that you cannot get a prayer through Allah God unless you mention me in your prayers. Try it and see it. I'm satisfied that those who know this will bear me witness. Morning, my brother. Top of the morning to you. Peace and blessings. Blessings be to you. I had the keys to your salvation. I had the keys to your hell. I can, if you would just let me pull you out of hell and set you into heaven, then I can keep you in heaven. Or I can keep pushing you and push you into the punishment of hell until you acknowledge that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, and that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his servant. There is no escape for you today. The only way is through me, is through Allah God, me first, for you cannot get to Allah God without getting to me first. The deluge before the storm. America is trying with all of her might to hinder you from getting into heaven. America makes promises to you. She makes promises to me that she does not intend to fulfill them. Some of America financial people promise to loan us millions of dollars, but when it comes time to do so, they vanish. But the day will come when we will be able to do the same things to them. And it's entirely up to them to make good at this day for themselves and for their people by submitting to the truth themselves, as the Bible says. The Gentiles shall come to the light of your rising. America wants to destroy God and me, and she wants to destroy you by deceiving you against following me. America lift up all my hypocrites and advise you to follow them, while she knows that you will be the losers. Look what she had done for Malcolm. America named universities after him in order for you to follow Malcolm. Malcolm turned from Allah God and me and started to follow them. America lift up any one of you that disobey Allah God and myself and come to them. See how they are doing. Everyone that's a hypocrite to Allah, God, and me. America will rise him up for you to follow. America will glorify his name. See, Malcolm was no lover of white people. He only lies to them in order to get a chance to fight me. But he was not a lover of them. See, Malcolm was a double crosser. He tried to get to me with the help, as it is written and prophesied that he would do. His name is not written there in the name of Malcolm. In history, another name is used, but his work is there in history of the hypocrites in the life of Muhammad. He tried to take advantage while Muhammad was sick. You find this in the writings of Washington Irving, even some scientists, writers of Islam that can tell you Malcolm history. But enemy fools you. You're not like Malcolm. Well, Malcolm working against me, he used Malcolm. They knew that Malcolm had learned the history of me. He was not able to change it. Even if the enemy will glorify them, they will come to a nothing. The time as a ruling power over black people is up. They knew that better than Malcolm did. They set up for worship all hypocrites against me. Suppose we will worship China and Russia against them, but we do not worship them. For Allah God is most significant, more significant than all of their nations. Allah God does not see them as a power or force against him. They are so little and weak in their powers. They cannot fight against Allah God and win. The more you fight against Allah God, the more you lose yourself. From the Bible and from this chapter and from now on, if you do not know that he's tricking you by making you to follow hypocrites, it is your doom. Just watch it. He trails me. He goes down to Bahamas and everywhere that he thinks that I'm going or where I have been. This is written. I do not fault him for doing what is written of him. I try to do that which is written of me. I do not fault him for what he is made by nature to do, nor should he fault me for what by nature I am. But I fault you if you let this little transgressor of this life and our enemy deprive you of a great future for yourself. We can buy hospitals in place, educate and train our people into the superior education of the nation of the earth. But you rather give your money over to white America and let them spend it on what they want to, and they pay little interest. We offer interest too, the highest of interest, but you do not trust us. So we were built right along without your help. We are going to be the winners. It is prophesied that we who believe will be the winners. And my work that was prophesied to me before I was born, you see it today. Try and find a successful one who is working in opposition to me. None of you who are trying to aid the devil against me will be successful in doing so. And the devil knows that. He's not trying to do these things himself, only with you. He knows that he will not be successful in stopping my progress. Not him several times his number, as long as I'm with Allah God. He is with me, and that will be all the days of my life. Fire fed with feud. So we have fire fed with feud. The subject of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran. Surah 85, verse 5. We do not hope for peace as we add to the war that would serve as a feud to a fire. So we see we do not hope for peace as long as we add to the war that which serve as a feud to a fire. The fire cannot go out as long as we keep it burning by adding more fuel. A dying burning fire is increased when more fuel is thrown into it. There are lots of people who are so anxious for peace so that they can return to committing that which they lack in love, idling, sport, and play. The world that we live in desires first of all to hide the truth, to keep the black man who is made blind, deaf, and dumb by this scientific trigonometry of the right race, so that the right race can continue to carry on the same deceiving and wickedness that they have been practicing. How can we expect peace when the method used to bring peace is the same method that started the war? Instead of finding the right solution and then practicing a right solution. I said these things for the sake of my own black people, for they are so ignorant to the knowledge of the truth, for the time in which we are living. What they would like to do cannot be done. For the time to even continue to do what you are doing is up. We must remember again the prediction of the Bible. It has foretold these times. If we understand the Bible, it must certainly teach us that there is no peace for the wicked. There is no people who preach such a thing as peace and as being true followers of the prophet Jesus. As much as the right Christians do. You see, day and night, the airways are full of their preaching. To hear them, you would think that they are the prophet Moses and Aaron, as the words Jesus put it. They sat in Moses' seat. The right Christians are great deceivers. We see the Pope of Rome cannot bring peace to the Christian church, for he is not enjoying peace himself. So who is that people then that the Bible prophesies of in the book of Isaiah, that he will extend peace to them like rivers? Surely cannot be the present Christian right race, for they are the ones who are breaking the peace. So they are the ones who are breaking the peace today. Fire fed with fuel, leaving your own home and country, go to another man's home and country to make trouble for that people, and then accuse that people of being the troublemakers. It is the attacker who is guilty of that, which follows the attack. I said to you, black people, you can get away from that old misunderstanding of the time. You are not living in a time in which you may be expecting a settlement of the war that will give you what you have already been used to: sport, play, and foolishness. Actually, now is a time that you and I should be wise enough to understand that we should think for self and do for self. If you do not know how to do for self, you should follow the man to whom Allah God has given that knowledge to teach you how to do for self. With the ocean filled with the fleets of the right Christians and the sky crowded with their death dealing planes over other people's territories, could you tell them that they should su- submit to you for peace? If you are able to force them to their knees or to destroy them, then I said yes. If that was the situation, then I will say that they should submit and let you trump it. But you cannot force them to their knees. They have been preparing for a war like this for nearly a century. Or what I should say, they have been preparing and working faithfully for half a century to entertain attackers with the same type of weapons and better weapons than the weapons you are attacking them with. If you resort to worse weapons, they have worse weapons also. So we are in a time when arguments to the country of peace is like heaping fuel on a fire. It keeps it burning. We are living in an evil time. I believe, and maybe many of hundreds of thousands believe, as I do, that the President of the United States of America have good attention towards the citizens of America when he took over the presidency. Time is against him. For the past 4,000 years and more, Allah God has always given the prophecy through the mouth of his prophets of the doom of the wicked. Now is the time. Cannot do anything but take it. It's a dangerous to add fuel to unwanted fire. The fire is the war. Men heart failing. Fear. How true the prophecy of Jesus, Luke 21:25 and 26. Concerning the present time, it bear witness that the seas and rays are warring, and that fear is now covering the nation, as shown by unusual heart failures that's now occurring amongst men. These are the signs of the end of the present world. The seas and ocean are heaving up tidal waves to a manageable height that man has never witnessed before on earth. This is another pledge that's upon the wicked. Since the Holy Quran teaches that the judgment will be such that the earth itself will act as though a revelation had been revealed to it because of its perfect obedience to the laws of Allah on that day. Allah will use the power that's in the earth and the seas against the world of evil. The right race thinks that they have control of the power of the earth, sea, and air. It was prophesied that for a time that they will subdue and have the use of the power of the sea and ocean until he comes, who right it is to rule. The heaven and earth belongs to Allah God. Now is his time to rule. There is much prophecy concerning the terribleness of the judgment of the wicked. The power that is in the water is in the hands of Allah God to use it against whom he pleases. The earth, the wind, rain, snow and ice and earthquakes and fire are controlled by Allah, God. It is a fearful sight to see the displays of his power with the force of nature, bowing and submitting to his will. I shall warn you that is now coming into action against the rester world. There will be the destruction of whole fleets at seas, those which are capable of lying on the ocean and sea bottom will be destroyed. The die is set with a foolish people who, like in the time of Noah, cannot see the sign of the rain bringing on the flood. Even after the cloud began to darken the sky, they did not see the oncoming rain until it actually started to rain. So it is with America. They pay no attention to the signs of the judgment that is taking place. As the Bible prophesies in Revelation 16:9, they blaspheme the name of God, which has power over these pledges. How many in America and the city of Chicago disbelieve and even mock and swear at the name of Allah, who have power over the force of nature, land, sea, and air? Allah God is now doing as is prophesied. We see the Holy Quran Surah 13:41, visiting the land and curtain the nation from his sides. See, the foolish still are foolish until he is cast into that narrow place and cannot turn right or left, as it was with the donkey that Balaam was right. See, he came to a narrow place between two walls. He could not turn around. He had to be stopped face to face with the angels or be destroyed. The Bible, Numbers 22, 23, and 26. Let it be remembered that Allah God came forth for redemption to deliver the American black people from their tormentors. Whether we like it or not, He will do this. This is the work of Allah God, which is in effect. Let America use the history of the fall and destruction of ancient Egypt and of Pharaoh. Let the history serve as a warning. They were brought to nothing for the evil done to a people whom Allah God has chosen for example. At these last days, the lost found black slave and their slave master. The Holy Quran Surah 30:41 is perfectly true in its prediction of a present day nation, sea, land, power, corruption has appeared in the land, in the sea on account of that which man's hands have made. The most grave mistake that the black man is making today is just trying to hold on to the brief and return of Jesus, or that he lived and preached the saving of this white man's world. This is false. See, Jesus did not preach this. Jesus had a few disciples. Jesus also cursed the Jews. Not to mention that he was trying to save them or the Caucasian people. They are teaching a trickology that the white man used to deceive the black man. They do this so that our people will not understand that Jesus declared himself against the world or the Caucasian race, the Bible. He also declared that the words of truth have no place in this right race of people. They have proved this to be the truth by their mistreatment of you and me. The right race that never worshiped any prophets before or after Jesus as a divine man of Allah, God. It's against their very nature to do this. That is why they kill all the prophets that they are able to kill. They deceive the people against believing in the prophets of Allah God, for they was made in their nature to be the enemies of God and his representatives. Before the time is out, they will be forced into submission to the will of Allah God. If it not be done for the purpose of converting the right race, Allah God will force them into submission and prove that he is able to make everything bow to him in submission. This is a fulfillment to prophecy. We see the Bible, Isaiah 45:23, and to me, every knee shall bow, and every tongue shall swear. The Bible says in Matthew 25:32, and before him shall we gather all nations. The Holy Quran has a similar prophecy that you shall see all nation kneeling before him. This includes everybody, regardless to their color. Everything in the universe obey the natural laws, which it was made subject to by Allah, God. On the coming of Allah, God, He now makes everything bow to Him, whether you believe it or disbelieve it. The Holy Quran Surah, chapter 382, it does not make a difference to Him whether you are the devil or the righteous, all must bow in submission to the will of Allah, God, on the day of judgment. We are living in the day of judgment. Black preachers, you erase your time, leading yourself and those who follow you to hell, but holding on to Christianity. Revelation 19:20. You cannot keep them in Christianity. Christianity was not the religion of Jesus, Moses, or any other prophet who came before them. There had been a fierce on the parts of Allah God that had waited until 2,000 years ago to give the right religion to the world of man. Allah God gave the right religion, Islam. In the beginning of creation of the heavens and earth, Allah God has not changed. The religion is Islam, entire submission to His will. Hell erupts. Now, why are the nation angry? And who are the nation that are angry at the resurrection of the dead? 18th verse of the 11th chapter of the Revelation. And the Bible plainly teaches us that these nations are angry and mad because of the rise of the dead. God Himself was the source of the power behind the resurrection of a rise of a mentally dead people, the black man. It is these slaveholders who have been the real cause of a mental death of the people. The revelation relates to as being deprived of justice. God come to give them justice, to justify them as being equal to their slave masters as human beings. As you know, 400 years of legal slavery and free slavery of the American so-called that have never been recognized even as a human being. As one devil says, they're only 3/5 of a human being. It is true that the history of our treatment by the devil's slave masters practically made our parents and ourselves less than human beings. This is why I teach that the main rights we should seek first are human rights. The American so-called Negro flew in love with his slave master and his slave master children because unlike attract them and their brothers in Africa. Therefore, the manifestation of the enemy, the devil, and the resurrection makes the dead to see, which caused them to be mentally dead. In the parable of the donkey who piled out, meeting with the angels, he saw that the burden he had been carried on his back was false. Balaam. So, in the resurrection of a mentally dead soul called Negro, they are rising to acknowledge yourself. This knowledge make them mute or refuse to continue to carry the slave master as something to worship. This have anger the slave master as the donkey refused anger. Balaam. Balaam set about whooping and beating the donkey to force him as unusual to carry, respect him as his master. This use of force to compel the one slave, the black American, to remain with them, even now in order to make them members. Society's only false recognition of the black Americans, the lost and now found people in the black nation of Asia and Africa. This continuing cruelty by the white slave master inflicted upon the American so-called have angered God as the cruelty the Egyptian inflicted upon the Israelites during the time of Pharaoh angered Jehovah. This is a repetition of Israel history and the Pharaoh evil in these modern times. The parency of Jehovah and of Moses, the servants of Jehovah, to announce to Pharaoh the end of Israel slavery. Pharaoh became angry, went to work and tried to extract and bringing to nothing Jehovah's delivery of Israel through his servant Moses. This brought Pharaoh to an end, and he and his army was cast into the Red Seas because they tried to prevent the freeing of Israel by their God Jehovah. The angry nation refers to white America and Europeans who were also enslaved of the black man. Take, for instance, the part that England, Germany, France, and Italy all played in enslavement of black Africans and black people throughout Africa, Asia, and here in America, North and South America. There is no such thing in the nature of white people as justice and freedom for black people, especially not for blacks in the Western Hemisphere. Now the anger is running them mad, and they are attacking and killing each other. There is no such thing as peace amongst them, nor can they produce peace for others. The Holy Quran refers to this condition as the kind of hell, chapter 81, verse 12. Never before have you witnessed the evil that is spreading far and wide every hour of the day in America and Europe. England and America being not the first, but the chief slave makers of black people. They disliked the idea of having Allah dispose of their power over the Negro, though they knew this was coming, the loss of their slaves. This is the time of increased knowledge. God has given the black man of America more light, and to this increase of divine knowledge, they need black elsewhere, because he chose to make for himself a great nation out of the former slave of America. Why America is angry at God for resurrecting the black slave to acknowledge herself and the slave master. This means that they are entering into a war with Almighty God Allah to try to oppose the truth of God, preached by the messenger of God. Read the second Psalms. The great commotion. The great commotion of the governments and people of America, the civil unrest, insurrection, mental excitement, noisy confusion. There is no action that is being taken, nor can there be any action taken that will bring the people into a better condition of civil actions. The white American people have practiced evil and injustice to the man in the mud, the black slave, for so long that they think that there will never be any divine action taken against them for such evil and injustice. But this is what is now affecting. It is the action of divine justice for the poor man, the black slave. Allah God and the person of Master Fly Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, have the power, and he's using his power on the wicked to bring them to their knees. Allah God is the greatest, and there is no equal to him. Allah God can take us by our own way of thinking and spin us as though we are a play toy. We cannot fight a successful fight against him. He is too powerful. He listens in on our thinking. He is capable of making us to think and to do that which he desired to be done. The great commotion today is witnessed by the nation of the earth. First, America, whom Allah God is after for a mistreatment of the poor so-called the lost found original black members of their nation. America mistreat and kill her black slave for sport. The America days is drawing to a close, and she would not have the freedom to mistreat the black one slave much longer. As the mistreatment of Egyptian practiced it against Israel came to an end, so will the mistreatment of the black slave by white America comes to an end. America has so blinded and made deaf dumb the black man in America, her black slaves, that she make empty promises to the black slave, and he will set her false promises, forsake the true promises of Allah God and the person of Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, who is here offering us heaven at once. The great commotion will continue in America till this commotion has destroyed the power of opposition. The title of this chapter is taken from the Holy Quran, Surah 101, 1 through 4. The disaster. What is the disaster? And we'll make you know how terrible is the disaster. In the English language, according to the Western Dictionary, the word disaster means a state of deep distress or misery caused by major fortune, a loss, or a great event marked by great loss and lasting distress and affliction. Such disasters now prevalent in America. It is getting worse daily. The third verse of this chapter of the Holy Quran Surah 101, verse 3 asks a question. Will make you know how terrible is the disaster. The answer is given in the fourth verse. The day wherein man will be as scattered as moths, who do not have to ask anyone whether or not this warning of the Holy Quran is now being fulfilled. We see the fulfillment of this prophecy with our eyes and hear with our ears. These great disasters that are now striking America. We see the great division, the great disagreement, disunity, and murder in men. We see the great amount of raping and murdering of girls and women. There's great robbery and thieves going on every hour of the day and night. There are great storms and adverse weather conditions. There are minor earth tremors and hailstorms. There are signs and wonders of signs being displayed in the heaven and earth, and on sea and land. There's unusual behavior of children. There's unusual love or dislike of children by mothers and fathers, and destruction of the process of childbirth. There is the great disaster of starvation and great destruction of health and life by the use and administering of poison drugs, which is practiced there upon those who are free, those who are bound. What had been known as America is threatened it today with total destruction. America is destroying herself in an effort to destroy her black slave. The water and air of America are being polluted by chemical use. America's scientists of war conducts dreadful experiments how best to kill human beings by the million and wipe out the life of whole continents. These are the days of fulfillment of prophecy of not one but of many disasters. But in all of these preparations of destruction of human life, by the devil, Allah God too has planned to save his people. Allah God has claimed over the black slave as being his people, and the white slaveholder is angry because of the loss of the black slave by the virtue of this claim. Allah God comes to take the black slave away from the enemy, white slaveholders, and join the black slave into his own kind. Again, the enemy white slaveholders hates this, but Allah God has the power to force the enemy white slaveholders to submit to his will. It is the will of Allah God that enemy white slaveholders let these black slaves go free. Allah God promised concerning the white slaveholders and the black slave, the Bible, Isaiah 43, verse 6. I'll say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my son from afar, my daughter from the end of the earth, America. Since Allah God has now claimed the black slave, giving him the truth, Allah God has called the black slave who accepted the truth by his name. The black slave who accepted the truth of his greatness and being one of the righteous nation of his kind belong to Allah God. Books must be fulfilled, wherein it prophesies that he will claim them to be his own elect at such time as destruction of America. If Allah God has now chosen some of the people of America, the black slave, to be his people, there will not have been any flesh saved from America. The Bible, Mark 13:20, teach us, except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh will be saved, but for the leg, for the elect's sake, whom he has chosen, he has shortened the days. The black slave must know that this is the time of the judgment of both the white slaveholders and the black slave. The black slave must learn to know his place in the judgment. The place of the black slave is with Allah God and his own black people. The black slave had been deprived of knowledge of his God and his own black people. Allah God has come and brought the black slave the truth. If the black slave refused to accept the truth, he will be destroyed for willingly and knowingly. Rejecting the truth when the truth have come and is meaningless. Disaster, disaster in the country of America. No secret can remain hidden, but the chastisement of Allah God will not let you hide it. As one writer prophesies in the Bible, Isaiah 18 verse 1, whom to the land shallow it rings. This prophecy is referred to America, which have a cloud of planes showering the skies over America almost daily. Can America exist? The coming of the white man to the western hemisphere was for the purpose of expansion away from his brethren, Europe. Europe was divine given to the right race as a home, and they were driven out of Arabia 6,000 years ago to abide there on that continent until the days of reckoning comes to them. These are the days of reckoning for the right race, as religious scholars and scientists agree. Because of their nature evil, they cannot help doing evil things against the righteous. They make war against the righteous. The black man, to prevent him from accepting righteousness and doing a righteousness. Today, the black man in America is a prey into the strong, powerful hands of his enemies, the children of their slave masters. For 400 years, the slave master had mistreated their slave, and now, in the day of the redemption, they are doing everything possible to save them from accepting the starvation that Allah now offers to the black man of America. So strong is Allah's love for us that he now desires nothing but a total destruction of America. They hate me with a bloody hatred, and they tried to kill me for teaching the truth to my people. They do not want this black man of America to enjoy freedom, justice, and equality. Look what they did to Reverend Martin King, a man who was trying to be their brother, a man who probably tired that he did not want to draw the white man's blood. He said, if there was any blood to be spilled, let it be the black man's blood. His words came true. Poor man. He was without the knowledge of self, his God, and religion, and so fear with fear of his 400-year-old enemy, that he can never get starvation from his people, from the enemy. Shout out to my brother Muhammad. Give a big shout out to my beloved. Big shout outs. Top of the morning. Shout out to everyone that's tuning in. He was without the knowledge of self, and so fear of his 400-year-old enemy, that he can never get starvation from his people, from the enemy. America had been blessed ever since her father came across the Atlantic out of the confines of Europe until this day. Now, for evil done to her slaves, see, God threatened her with total destruction. America and Germany are the most evil of the right race. These two governments have been blessed, but they have not shown any worthwhile respect to Allah for his blessing. Allah called people out of all nations of the earth to come to America. They came seeking a heaven and earth, but those who came was evil too. As the Revelation and language teach, Revelation 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, America, the great is falling, and it become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. There is no people nor country on earth will fulfill this prophecy better than America and her people. She had become a house filled with evil practice, and every member of the nations taking part. Yet she had been blessed with a great harvest of food, which is enough to feed the nations of earth, and with her great advancements into the heights of her mechanical knowledge, and with her great wealth in silver and gold that enabled her once upon a time to command the value of silver gold of the world. But as it is written in all of this going up of wealth and power, the act of justice was laid at the roots of this great tree of prosperity and authorities of the nation of the earth, to be used by the Holy One to put a stop to the evil practice and injustice to the righteous. America prospered it from the labors of her black slave. She pays the black man high wages and salaries, and then take them back from him with a high cost of living. The high cost of living of trying to live according to the way the white man lives, see, keeps this black man down. When he has inquired education of the white man, is unable to complete with the white man, becomes dissatisfied to the degree, creating trouble to find a way of self-prosperity against the will of the white man, which is to keep the black man in the condition of property and disregard as equal human beings. Yet while the white man teach that all human beings are created accordingly, at the same time, he robs this black man of a chance to be the equal of the human beings. Can America exist with all of her wicked doing against the black man America in a state of inequality of the human beings? The continued existence of America and the way of governments and power over people other than her own depends on the way she will continue to treat her one slave, the black people of America, due to the prophecy of the Bible from Moses to Jesus and Muhammad. The prophets saying, or these prophets teach us, that a coming showdown between Allah God and the slaveholders of his people, black America, must come to pass. The time has arrived, a defender coming to defend the prey, the so-called Negro, who is held in bondage by the white slaveholders, and who and are still mistreating the prey to the extent that the world is in sympathy with the prey for justice. Now it is prophesied that a just ruler will come, and he have come to set up a rule or kingdom under laws of justice for a people who have lived under laws of injustice by unjust rulers. This must be fulfilled. If the next government for the people, the universe is going to be under such a glorious rule of freedom, justice, and equality. It is natural that the old ruler will oppose a new ruler coming to remove him and his authorities to rule the people. He will fight to keep his place and authorities over the people. This is why Allah threatened his opponents with the final declaration war that would end the opponent's opposition to his laws of righteousness. It had been written for many years of the coming doom of the world of Christianity, mainly America, who is the root and cause of this present judgment of America. The judgment of America is due to the way that she has treated the so-called Negro, black people of America for 400 years. The very hour in which I'm writing, America is still mistreating her one slave with the worst kind of treatment ever according to human beings. America practiced the way of her fathers, treatment, an American so-called under what she called a law of freedom. But this freedom is only in words, not in practice. The slave master children blood hearts and way of thinking towards the one slave is the same as their fathers. They find it so free to beat and kill the one slave, so-called Negro at will, that they will continue to practice a mistreating and murdering the slave day and night because there is no law of justice for the black man of America, who is the property of their fathers, of American white citizens. See, white America, they believe, my brothers and sisters, that there is no divine actions. They believe that as long as they can mistreat and kill the black men here in America for over 6,000 years that they've been here, they feel, even though that there is no divine action taken. You know, judgment have come to you, America. Your judgment have come. America, she's surrounded with the great judgment of God. And the great judgment of God is rain, hail, snow, earthquakes, fire. And many other we let it pledge. So we see America never think in terms of being equally punished for the wrong done to the so-called Negro. Now, the Bible parable of Balaam riding that donkey must be remembered. When the angels went to settle the unjust mistreatment of the donkey by Balaam, angels found Balaam still beaten and forcing the donkey to carry him right in the presence of the visiting angel, who is carrying a sword to bring about the justice between the two. It is almost impossible to say that America can exist. If America to exist, America ruling powers, it will make prophets of the Bible and even the Holy Quran prophesize other than the truth. It's impossible to make them outliers. We wrote the doom of a race that will come at a certain time, and that certain time is now known. The time can be prolonged if the Messiah that the world had been looking forward to come for 2,000 years. Desire, for he does what he please. This does not mean that he will change the idea of the doom and destruction of America. But if he pleased, he could extend her time if she had done almost a marvelous thing, like submitting to the righteous, taught and delivered to a mental dead slave, so-called. So Jesus says there will be earthquakes in various places. Do you not see this with your own eyes? I want to say, oh America, where shall you flee? Because these things are coming to America and it's hitting her very lightly in some of these areas where most of us live. Can you not see that God is after you?